What's happening? Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to all of you. Welcome to another episode of Morning Perspective. We're going to talk this morning a little bit about habits. What do your habits look like? We're going to focus a lot on your morning routine. We're going to talk about what that looks like, what the impact of that has on your life, how important it is to create that rhythm, that routine in your life, and how that will ultimately build into, having the life that you actually want. It's amazing to me. This was something that I really started studying quite a bit a little while back, and it was something that I noticed throughout all the people who I interacted with, and I was, learning from. Some of which haven't been to sleep yet. Wow, that's a longer night than me. I get. I'm gonna check the audio here, just make sure we're coming through. Give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, so all the people that I was learning from, it seemed to be that they always had these pretty solid and pretty predictable routines. And then I started putting it all together. Good morning, Nina. Good morning, Bruce, Kim. Hi, babe. Dean, Patricia. Good morning, everybody. So I started noticing that these people, all had routines. And then I started really thinking about that. And I noticed a lot of other people outside of business and outside of athletes, when they talk to the most elite athletes, they always have a pregame routine. When they talk to parents that raise, have very good children and grow up to be successful and their families are well put together, they always have a routine. And so when you look at, your morning specifically, what does that look like? And do you have a routine to what you do? If you don't, it is really, it's a tough way to start out your day because, your body in general needs rhythm to function properly, right? You ever have those days? Good morning, Derek. What's happening? Dina, good morning. Lydia. You ever have those days where you just feel off, like, you just can't get things on track? And it's a rhythm thing, right? It's literally, you feel like you're out of rhythm, you're out of sorts. And what I've found in myself is that if I don't control my morning, if I don't get, out into the world and into what I have to do for the day in the right order, in the right rhythm, then I end up having just a wonky day, right? Just kind of like I'm just grinding the gears all day long, up and down, up and down. I just can't find that rhythm. And so I want to share with you guys kind of, my morning routine, what that looks like. And, maybe it can be helpful for you guys. You don't have to use my routine. I'm not saying this is the right thing for everybody. I'm just saying this will give you an example and a framework, and you can, take that and build your own. So for me, as soon as I wake up, number one, I would highly recommend that you do not hit the snooze button. It is the sign of, it can be viewed personally. Like when I do it, I'm not saying I don't do it because I do it sometimes, but when I do it, sometimes I feel like that's like almost like an immediate loss for the day, right? Like I did something, that I wasn't supposed to do. So it's kind of a negative to the day. So I get up and I rotate to the side of the bed. I put my feet on the floor, and I always put my head in my hands, and I just spend a minute or two literally just being grateful for having the opportunity to wake up again and live this life. I think I've shared this analogy before, but I'll share it again. I think the gratitude is so important first thing in the morning because, if you were given the opportunity to get $1 million or life, you could continue to live, which would you take? Most people, almost every person that I've talked to, has said I would choose life, right? Nobody wants to not live. But every morning we get that gift. We get, the gift that we would choose. And I think that we all take it for granted. And so I put that step into my morning routine, and it's made a huge difference in my life. It's just a feeling of gratitude, like literally the minute that you open your eyes. And I think it's a powerful thing to be able to function, starting your day off like that. And it doesn't matter what happened the day before. It doesn't matter, how bad things might be at that given moment. At the basis of what we're all experiencing every single day, we have life. We have another opportunity to fix it. We have another opportunity to live better than we did the day before. And so for that, you should always start your day being grateful. And, so I get in the shower. For me, recently, I started taking cold showers, like I'm talking ice cold. And I don't know if you guys want to do that. Most of the ladies out there, when I say that, think that that's a little crazy. But I'll tell you what it has done for me is a couple of things. Number one, it's very healthy for you. So it gets your blood flowing. It literally, like, your body is like, pumping blood through to keep you warm. And so it wakes you up both from the shock of the cold water and just the blood flowing through your body. And so I got to a point, 75 Hard had a phase 1, it's called, and so that included a 5-minute cold shower, which is a really long time in cold water, by the way, if you guys were wondering. And so that got me used to taking that cold shower, and so it really helps me. And so I do it every day now. I get in there, I turn the shower on warm, but I turn it down and I turn it to ice cold, and that's how I take my shower. And it's done a couple of things. Number one, it's very healthy for you. It wakes you up. But number two, it teaches me that I absolutely can control my mind in what people would consider a somewhat desperate situation, right? When you're trapped in cold water, your body is in flight mode for sure. Good morning, Tim. How you doing? Carrie Ann, good morning. Your body's in flight mode. You want to get the heck out of that water, right? And so I take a cold shower, get ready, brush my teeth, shave, get ready. And then I am ready to make my coffee. And I make my coffee. I come in. I get everything situated on my desk. If it's not already, most of the time it is. But I get everything situated on my desk. I go out there. I make my coffee. I put the cream and sugar in there. And then I'm ready to start my day, right? And so I sit down at my desk, and the first thing that I do is write in my planner for the day. So it sits right on my desk all the time. I write everything in my planner, so my goals get written every day. I choose a quote of the day based on what's going on that particular day. I review the successes from the day before. I look at the things that need planned forward that I didn't complete yesterday for today. What else is on there? Oh, I listen to I usually watch a motivational video. And again, sometimes this stuff happens all before this show starts. Sometimes it's a little bit before, a little bit after. It just depends on kind of how things are going. But the reality is I have this routine and I have this rhythm, right? And what I've found is that the more that I stick to that routine, the better my days start. And the reason for that is that I have a lot of clarity in what I need to accomplish. So I'm never reactive to the world. I'm always proactive about what I need to do. So this morning, I have a team call. So our company meets on a Zoom conference every single morning at 9 o'clock to just review what we've got going on with customers. What's this kind of state of the union? What do we need to handle today? What's outstanding? We almost go through the same routine as what I'm describing here. And so at 9 o'clock, and then today I have a call at 9:30, and then I've got my whole to-do list for today that I'll go through and kind of prioritize that, and then I start knocking that out based on what's most important. But I would just tell you guys that, that routine, and again, spending time being grateful is a requirement to me for your morning, because otherwise you're just going to take on the attitude or the mood or the motivation that the world gives you. And I got news for you guys. That's not a place you want to be. You don't want to receive just the stuff that the world's giving you, because it's not positive. Once I implemented this routine and I really started focusing on self-development, and I really, consciously chose to be a positive person all the time and find the gift in every opportunity and adversity, I noticed just how negative the world is around us. And so I would tell you guys that this routine, I also describe it to the people that I coach. It's the way that I call it putting on my armor for the day. So, and I read scripture every single morning. I have this book. This is the one that I use. It's called Daily Moments of Strength, and it has one page for every single day. And it's something that just, kind of gets me spiritually in check. And depending on the day, I read more than one. But, it's just got just a little, I don't know if you guys can see this, but the little passage, and it just gets you kind of focused for the day and in the right mindset. So, but whatever you choose to pour into yourself, guys, that's going to be the tone that the day sets, right? That's set for the day. And so I watch a lot of people struggle with this. And, especially those people, if you guys kind of have a lot of things going on in your life, some hectic things, some adversity, this is even that much more important. If for those of you who watched the show last night, Carrie Ann and Matt, I think, are both on this stream here, and their family's been experiencing, a lot of adversity with Carly having cancer and having treatments, and they're running to doctors and, all of that kind of stuff. And those are the times in your life where these routines and these things that kind of create that rhythm, that is what calms you. It's what brings that, your ability to face those things, to stand up and face those adversities. It's what brings that into your life. Your ability to create rhythm, to create a routine, even when those storms hit, it allows you to feel just a little bit more normal than you would if you didn't have it. And so I hope it's helpful, guys. If you have any questions about this or anything specific in your own life, you can drop it in the comments here, and I'd be happy to help any of you guys with it. I mentioned yesterday, I can definitely share with anybody that wants it. Just shoot me a DM, and I can share with you the planner pages that I use. So I created my own planner. And I can send you guys the pages of that planner that, and you can print them out, put them in a binder, anything like that. But it's creating that routine, and that planner that I use is really the foundation of a lot of it. And then there's just a handful of other things that I do outside of that. But, having that rhythm every single morning will absolutely create a better life for you. That morning routine launches you into your day. And, your day launches you into your weeks, and so on and so forth, right? So, I think it's important, guys. And then, by the way, it's important, too, to look at the end of the day. At the end of the day on my planner, every day gets a W or an L. And, that is just based on, do I feel like I won today, or do I feel like I lost? And that is not, by the way, guys, based on results. It is based on effort. How did we do? How did my company do? How did we perform? How did my world perform for that day? And listen, some days are losses, but if I can chain together enough W's in a row, it's very interesting to go back through my planner. I've done this a few times, to look at the financial performance of my companies, and then go back through my planner and look at those days leading up to bam, bam, good things happening. And, the guys that are on my team, I talk about this stuff all the time. I never really dig in that close to make sure that everybody's got this much of a detailed routine. But I'm sure they hear me talk about it and preach about it enough that they would be able to tell you that they experience the same things. Because, when we can chain together enough days of good rhythm in the morning, getting off to a good start, customers feel that energy, right? We pass that off to customers. We're on it. We got a good rhythm going. And so those customers end up, signing contracts. Happened yesterday. We were sitting here and I was talking to one of my guys and I said, man, I got this feeling. I've been getting some notifications from this customer, some conversations back and forth. I think we're going to get this. I think we're going to get this contract. And bam, $200,000 contract comes literally while we're still talking about it. And so, those things, it's not hocus pocus, guys. I know a lot of people think that this stuff is like, oh man, this is not real or this is a bunch of fluff. It's not. Success leaves clues, you hear that quite often. If you go and look at anybody that's performing at a very, very high level, I can promise you they have a pretty strict morning routine that they follow. And I wouldn't be surprised if they have a lot of other routines. Another part of what I'm trying to implement into my life now, you guys know I have the shirt on right now. I'm part of the Arete Syndicate, the Arete Accelerator Program. And Ed Milet is one of the two. Ed Milet and Andy Frisella are the guys that created this program. Ed Milet has something that he does. He tries to divide the day into threes. So he goes, from the morning, sections that morning off. So if you wake up at 5 a.m., so it might be 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., and then 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. But ultimately, what I'm trying to do now is create those sections of my day where Chris Bresler, holy mackerel, man, he's on the West Coast. My man is up and at 'em this morning. But at any rate, I'm trying to create those 3 days into one. And the reason for that is what you find is that the more that you can cram into your day, the more productive you get. And the reason for that is you're creating momentum, you're creating rhythm in your life. And so, you ever sit there at your desk and you got a pile of stuff to do? I know you guys do it because I still do it. I wish I woke up early for you, but the truth is that you got early tea time. There you go, man. Good for you. Good for you. But I don't even remember what I was talking about. But at any rate, you got a big list of stuff to do, and you're sitting there and you're like, man, I got a lot to do. But you just don't get started, right? You look down at your watch and 20 minutes have gone by, 15 minutes have gone by. And so what I learned, and I learned a lot of lessons through the 75 Hard program that I completed a couple of months ago, but what I learned was that the more that I could jam into my day, so the more that I tried to cram in there, ultimately the more successful I became because I never had downtime, right? My schedule was so packed between doing 2 45-minute workouts, constantly drinking water, having to read 10 pages, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it takes time to read 10 pages. There was a bunch of things that I had to complete, and then I still got kids. I still have a wife. I still have a family. I still have stuff to do around my house. I still got to, go do the things everybody else has to do, right? And so when you have all of those things and you're really time constricted, what you find is that you find a way to get it all done, and you create an incredible rhythm in your life to be able to get all of those things accomplished. And I think it is great for you guys to start just analyzing those things. It's not about, by the way, when you listen to things like this, what I've learned, and I'll give you guys this advice because I've spent a lot of time doing self-development or trying to implement new strategies into my own life. I think it's really important, guys, to don't just take these things that you hear, whether it's from me or some, on YouTube or somebody else that you might tune into or listen to. Don't just take things and fire them right into your life. Take some time to digest that. How is it going to be different than what I do currently? What are the risks of other things in my life falling off as a result of this? That is probably the biggest thing that I've learned is when you're trying to implement something new, you have a tendency to fall off on something else that may have become a habit in the process, right? And they might be good habits. So you got to kind of just analyze what you got going on to make sure you don't lose something else really good to implement. Sometimes something that might not be as effective as something that you had before. So I think it's remember, guys, everybody seems to be in a hurry to get everything fixed in their life and get to a higher gear. And it's not about being in a hurry. It's about being effective. If you can just I use this with my coaching clients too. Sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. That's a guy told me that years ago that I worked for, and I've been using it ever since because I think it's one of the most effective things that people overlook. Right? Everybody in the world seems to be in a big hurry for everything, and there's some things in life that you just can't rush. And winning on a large scale and really living a fulfilled life that's organized and calm and successful and that helps other people. I think it's really important to keep all of that stuff in check. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I wanted to jump on here this morning and give some people some tips. If you guys didn't watch last night's show, I had Miss Carly Tobin on at 7:30 last night. She is the 10-year-old daughter of my friends Carrie Ann and Matt Tobin. They live right outside of Boston in Natick, Massachusetts. And I just want to kind of share with you guys my experience from that show. Number one, I watched that little girl's interviews with several other people, with the news up in Boston and the Jimmy Fund. They did a radio show, and she was interviewed and answered a lot of questions for those people. And I told this story on the show last night, but I watched the video of her being interviewed by the sportscasters from the Jimmy Fund up in Boston, and that interview that she did and her explaining that she remembered, her grandmother had brain cancer and her grandmother ultimately passed away from that. And, having that feeling of fear and, I'm a sucker for kids. I tell people, man, I got 3 and another one on the way. And if I was younger, boy, I'd have like 10 of them running around here. And, to watch a child be able to, number one, a child should never have to go through something like that. But to be able to watch a child process that the way that little girl does, it gives me just a lot of hope and inspiration for our world. And if you guys didn't watch that interview, I would highly recommend. I had grown men, friends of mine in the paving business, calling me, in tears. And there is a GoFundMe that's been created for the family. The Tobins, they might get mad at me for even saying this because they didn't want anything to do with a GoFundMe, but they're entrepreneurs, and they own a business up in Boston. And no matter how tough you are, no matter how good your routine is, this type of stuff, when it hits you in life, it can't help but affect you, right? And so anything, if you guys have the ability to donate, if you don't have the ability to donate, send them some kind words on that stream and offer your support and love. But if you have the ability to donate, I don't care if it's $5, $20, whatever it is, please do it. I had a couple of friends of mine in the business, offered to help that family, so we did a couple of things for them for Carly last night. We're going to get her some stuff so she can tell her story and help her build out her. She has a little slime company that she sells slime, and she donates all the money to charity. So we're going to help her build out her store for her slime online so she can sell her slime and help more people, help more charities. So, but that interview, it really put a lot. The title of this show, the title of my book, is Perspective, and I'm a big person on just the way you look at life is how you live your life, and that little girl. I can't even I can't even fully process it yet. It's just the absolute gem and gift that little girl is. And I told her mom yesterday. Obviously, they're unbelievable parents, and they've done an awesome job preparing this little girl, and so that she has the mindset that, when she gets cancer, she actually said they make cancer fun at the place that I go to, and you just have to keep a positive mindset and know that you're gonna kick cancer's butt. She's 10 years old, guys, and I think we can learn a lot from kids. And when I'm looking in that screen last night, looking at this little girl just facing a battle that would crush any of us, and just taking it on like a champ. And so I'm proud to know that little girl. I'm proud to call her a friend. I'm happy that we have the connection that we have, and I would encourage you guys to watch it. I think it'll help your day. It'll give you some perspective. One of my buddies is in bed with shingles, and he said, "Man, I feel better already." He said, "I watched that interview." He's the guy. He called me emotional, and he said, "Man, I feel a lot better already. I've been sitting here in a lot of pain, feeling bad for myself, and that little girl helped me." And I sent her mom a message. I said, "See, she's healing people all over the world already." And so I think it's important, guys, when these things happen in our lives, and it's our responsibility as human beings to number one, share those people with your circle. With that's why I wanted to get her on here and share her with the people who follow this show, and all of my friends and family. People like that are a gift, and I'm blessed to have a lot of people in my life that are really positive influences, an incredible circle, just awesome people. I could sit here all day and tell you the crazy nice things that people do for me, for other people, I got buddies that are donating to this family that are my friends, and they've never met those people. They have no idea who they are. They just give. And I would encourage you guys, if you have the ability, to support them. I think it means a lot to families when they're in that moment. Anything that can give you hope when you're going through those storms of life is important, and I think it's all of our responsibility to do that for others. And so, and by the way, guys, I've said this before on the show, but I will say it again. If any of you guys are in that spot where you need some hope, you need a conversation, you're having a bad week. I read somebody's post that watches this show last night, and it was it wasn't all positive. It wasn't negative, but it wasn't all positive. And so I'll reach out to that person and see if there's anything I can do. And I'd encourage you guys to do the same. And if you ever need anything, I'm a DM away, and we can hop on the phone, and hopefully I could cast some perspective into your life. There's a handful of people on this stream that I've had countless conversations with, some of which have been counseling me at times. And so I think it's really important, guys, for us to realize the power of each other, of the world around us, and leverage that power for the good of the whole world. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you didn't share this out, man, shame on you. I'm just kidding. Share it out if you can. If you find some benefit in what we're doing here, by all means, tell a friend, tell them to follow me, tell them to tune into the show. You can go to YouTube and watch this thing too. Every single episode of this is on YouTube. I just got this set up on Spotify yesterday for podcasts, so you guys will be able to listen in audio version in your car if you want. And soon to come, hopefully. I mean, iTunes approved it in 3 hours. I think Apple's on like day number 3 or something like that. So But, I appreciate you guys sharing it. Share it on any platform. When it comes out on Spotify or anywhere else on YouTube, give us some likes, give us some comments so that reviews and it starts to track in those systems so that we can get this message to more people. So I appreciate you guys starting your day with me, and I hope you have an unbelievable Thursday.